You had a bike anyway, yeah. You all had bikes. So, yeah, you know, it's a bit of money like that.
What would Jean do weekends?
Oh, she'd play with the, well, the kids around, you know, sort of. They got the church fields and bumble around and play in one another's gardens, and you'd give them a drink and things like that. Yeah, she had village kids to play with, from the school and things.
What did you and Dad do weekends?
Dad did all the odd jobs, what needed doing, in the garden, in his greenhouse, you know. There was always some odd job to be done, something to be plastered up or stuck up or knocked down or nailed up or something. And his bike, you see, he had to keep that in good order because of his journey. So that was sometimes taken apart and all over the place. It was on the kitchen table for about more than a week. And we had to have meals on our laps. I can remember that. Couldn't touch anything, so all spread out. I don't know, I think he had to go to work on the bus that week. He hated that.
Did you go out together?
Oh, we'd perhaps go for a drink together. Yeah, walk down to the Dog and Badger. Walk down there and have a drink Saturday night, walk back. But we didn't go into town, no.
So did you drive at all?
No. We never had a car there, not till latterly, just his motorbike.
So you never drove the car at White Waltham?
No, we only had one car. It was the Rover latterly. We didn't have that in the beginning, no. I did drive in London, you know, before I was married, but I never kept it up, no.
Why not?
Didn't want to, didn't have any, still didn't, but I had to do it, didn't I? Didn't have any ambitions to drive, no.
What were the sleeping arrangements?
Well, Dad and I had to put you up in the sitting room, you see. That's the only thing we could do. You two girls shared a bedroom and Ian had the bed. Then latterly there was the landing and there was this sort of spare space. Do you remember? Well, we made that took a bed and a chair, a little dressing table. So we made that into a bedroom, put up partitions and made that. So Jean had that, and then you had that, and then Ian had the bedroom. So it made 3 bedrooms upstairs, really. It was a sensible thing to do. It made a dear little bedroom, because it had a window. We put a window in. John Wren put the window in for us. Yeah. It was, we should have done it years ago, but nobody seemed to think of it until... Because that was just wasted space. I mean, you put your rubber, your spare, but it wasn't neither here nor there. But it cut off that, in the big room, the double, bedroom, which was an L-shaped, it cut off the L, you see. So it made it smaller, but it still took a double bed.
And did you mind sleeping downstairs in the lounge?
Hated it, didn't like it a bit, but
why?
What you do? Well, it's nice to have a bedroom, isn't it?
Where did you keep your clothes?
God knows. In your room, I suppose. No. I didn't, I knew I couldn't do anything else, but so you just stick it, but I can't say I enjoyed it, no.
Did you ever move upstairs? After the kids left home?
Oh, yes.
Which room did you use? The big one?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, we did. But no, love. No, it was such a change from being in Malta and having a skivvy every morning, Betty, and having your work done for you, leading more or less a lady's life. And White Waltham, I had Mrs. Hicks. And leading more or less a lady's life, bang whack to Malden all on my own. And very inconvenient.
Did you never consider moving?
We hadn't got the money, love. We hadn't got the money. I mean, we could have moved into a rented place and things.
Well, you were renting Malden, weren't you?
We were, yeah, but very cheap. We had no money to put down on a house or anything like that. But luckily, Mrs. Wren passed away and we had the opportunity of buying it, and it was a very good buy. So we managed to do that. Because we didn't have the money. It was only, I mean, we only paid, what, £300, right, or something, £500?
Goodness.
Ridiculous.
Why was that?
Well, we were sitting tenants, and they couldn't turn us out, you see. We'd been there so many years, had it in our name, something or another. They could. So anybody, but if it had been on the market, and anybody had bought it, they would have to have asked us to go, but they couldn't have forced us to go, I don't think. So if they wanted it for themselves, we could have stuck our heels in and said, no, something like that. So it wasn't really a good buy for anybody outside. And as sitting tenants, it was the obvious thing. I can remember Dad, he talked to Mr. Wren after his wife died and things like that. He came rushing in one day and he said, "Where's the Air Force Bible?" Now that was a great big book, like that, thick book they used to call the Air Force Bible, with all the rules, regulations, incorporating everything of Air Force, married quarters, this and that and the other, Well, it was right at the back of the cupboard under the stairs. I knew where it was, So we right there. I said, "What do you want it for?" He said, so scratched around, looked up pensions, you see, 'cause he was getting a pension from the Air Force thing. And I said, "Well," he said, "well, we've got the opportunity to buy this place." But he says, just getting the money. But he said, "I reckon that if I the Air Force will forward the money, you see, and then they'll take so much off my pension every month until I've paid." So up he went to Air Ministry, and they had to have a medical, and they did. They paid the money, and they cut so much off his pension till he paid it off. Otherwise we couldn't have bought it. So that was good. And we sold it at a good profit, didn't we?
So did the Wrens ever ask you to leave so
No,
that they
no.
could sell it? They were happy to sell it at a reduced rate?
Yeah. I mean, it's only almost, really. They weren't out to make a big profit, love, no.
But they could have kept renting it to you. They didn't have to sell it, did they?
No, they didn't. No, I don't think so. But I'm not sure, love, what happened there. Mrs. Wren never. See, it was hers. It wasn't his. Well, I suppose she must have left it to him, will. So I don't know. But I mean, that's how I know there was. We got first refusal as sitting tenants, you see. Mm.
Did we kids have pocket money?
Yeah, I think so. Don't think you got much.
Did we have any chores to do for that?
No, I don't think can't ever remember you doing much in the way of chores. No, that was a great failing. We should have made you do more.
We used to save it up for anything?
Well, I suppose little Christmas presents or things like that. But if you wasn't it from Malden? I was looking at that the other day.
That mat?
No, you bought me that warming pan back from Wales.
Oh yes, Yes.
Now you went with some from Malden, wasn't it? From Malden you went?
No, I went with a girlfriend, Patricia Batchelor, and her family from.
Yeah, but where were we then? Where were
We were
you
in
living?
Malden,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes,
right. You
yes.
see, well, you had to have money for that. So I mean, we got you must have had. We must have given you money to spend there and pay your way.
Mm.
Yeah, so you know things like that. Yeah,
What do we do as a family about holidays?
never had any.
None at all.
No,
Family outings?
occasionally.
Where to?
Oh well, we come up to London to see Jane and Jiggy, and that's about the extent of it, I think.
No family picnics or walks or.
No, don't think so. Oh, yeah, used to go blackberrying, all of us. Churchfield, blackberry, things like that. Hmm. But we never had a car, you see, until we've been there quite some time. And buses were terrible on a Sunday anyway. But you were quite happy. We had gardens and things, you know. You were.
Church?
I used to go to church occasionally, take you kids. Dad never, no. I think he went to midnight mass once or twice, under sufferance.
Why did you go?
I don't know. I suppose it was tradition. My mother always took me, and I suppose I thought, oh well, you know. But and I did at White Waltham too. Went to church. Now and again, not.
Tell me about Christmas.
Oh well, Christmas. We used to go to midnight mass, which was nice, you know.
Why?
Eh?
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know. It sort of is. Well, it didn't.
What was it about it that was nice?
Oh, it was lovely. If it was a frosty frosty full moon, I can remember, you know, walking up that path to church. It was gorgeous. The atmosphere was, and the stars, you know, on a frosty night. The atmosphere was marvellous. Something about, and the church was all lit up. You know, it was a marvellous sight, that vista, that church, wasn't it? It was a marvellous, where it was, yeah.
On the hill?
Yes. And it was lit up, you know. Yeah, there's something about it, something magical really about it, you know. And the choir singing. Yeah, you didn't have to be religious, but it was really, really quite magical, really. Mm. Yeah.
And then what?
Well, then you came home, you see, and you had a hot drink, whatever, and of course you scrambled into bed, and then, you know, Christmas morning, the next morning, and we all had breakfast together that morning. Dad always would have egg and bacon and mushrooms, and he used to butt the kitchen up, and because I wouldn't do it, he used to do it.
So Dad used to cook a huge brekkie for Christmas?
Yeah. And I was dying to get in the kitchen to start the lunch, you know. But if we had a turkey or whatever, I'd put that in the oven to do slowly. That didn't interfere with the top cooking of the frying pan and things. So, oh yeah. So then we had lunch, you know, Christmas lunch, and you know, Christmas Day is a dead day anyway. People don't move around a lot really. Slept it off in the afternoon. And then Grandad, I had Grandad. He used to be there. And,
would he come to lunch?
oh yeah. Yeah. And some Sundays he'd come, you know. Mm.
And what about presents?
Oh yes, presents.
Kids hang up.
Oh yes, well yeah, I don't know when you left that off, I don't know. But there were still presents even when you stopped hanging your stockings up.
What sort of things did you put in the? It wasn't stockings; it was pillowcases.
Well, yeah, when you were kids.
What sort of things did you put in?
Oh, you know, gathered this and that and the other. I don't know.
So was there one big present? Was there a particular Christmas present, a few knicky-knackies or what?
Well, when you got older and you could sort of, you know, you knew what you wanted, and then you got that and probably not much else.
I'm thinking particularly of this time in Malden when we were 11, 12, 13, that sort of...
I think you must have stopped hanging your stockings up by then. I should think so.
Christmas tree?
Yes, and lights. We had Christmas tree, and I think we had to have the Christmas tree because your father wanted to do the lights.
What sort of lights were they?
Oh, you know, the usual they have now, just little lights.
Flashing?
Yes, you could flash them on up, and that they were a new sort of thing, you know, that hadn't been around too long, really. So to have these lights was quite something, you know.
So you had.
But it all, you know, Christmas Day was just a chaotic. What's it for me? You know, what with meals and rubbish all over the place, and then one or two of the old John had come. You know, John, had come round, and we'd have to. He'd have a Christmas drink. John Wren had come in for a Christmas drink. One or two of Dad's buddies from his dominoes come in Christmas morning. You couldn't get going. The place was absolutely chaotic.
What did they have to drink?
Oh, well, whiskey, sherry. Dad would buy some whiskey for Christmas. Sherry, beer.
Did you keep drinking in the house normally?
No, not normally. No, I think probably a little drop, but we didn't drink in the house, no. Only like, you know, a special occasion like Christmas or something like that. No. So Christmas Day was, you know, just chaotic to me. I was just thankful to flop into my bed Christmas night. Dead to the world, dead tired.
You didn't enjoy it?
Not really, no. Not really. No.
What would you cook for Christmas lunch?
Oh, well, we used to have a turkey. One Christmas I can remember we had a goose. He came in and said that he bought this goose. They were selling something. So we had, and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Goose are very fatty, you know, and it was tough. Oh, it was absolutely awful. So he copped out for that. Nobody would eat it, so that was the end of that. But normally a turkey, yeah.
What did you have with it?
Oh, vegetables, roast potatoes, peas, cauliflower, whatever. Christmas pudding and sauce, mince pies.
Money in the Christmas pudding?
Yes. Yeah, because you get little twopenny bits then, you see.
Did you wrap them up and everything?
No, wash them, put them in.
What would you have with would you like the Christmas pudding?
Yes, Dad used to light it in the kitchen. Brandy. Oh, you must have bought a small bottle of brandy and bring it in. Oh, yes, you love that, you kids. Screaming, you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, we had nuts. You love nuts. And tangerines, and, you know, which were quite sort of an exotic thing. And lolly. Well, you had boxes of chocolates and one thing and another, given and things like that. You eat and drink all the time, more or less, I suppose. Seemed to me like that anyway.
So we sleep it off in the afternoon, and then what?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you kids did. You went off out, I think. And well, then in the evening, I think we just did. You know, there was a fire in the sitting room. We watched telly, and I think they played cards. You used to like Chinky Pig. Dad used to, you know, play this Chinky Pig, and used to play that. Go to bed.
Any other Christmas decorations?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you made them. That was, yeah, used to keep Jean quiet for a long time, Christmas. Yes, used to make these paper chains, you know, bit of glue and
a strip of paper.
You buy them. You used to buy them in a packet, all different colours, and put a bit of glue on and stick it, and then thread it through the next one and stick it. Yeah.
Anything particular happened Boxing Day?
No, cold dinner, thank God. Ate the remains up Boxing Day, yeah. Oh, yes, there was the hunt, you see, Boxing Day in Club Hill. We used to go down there in the morning and watch them go off, which was, quite a sight.
How would you get down there?
We usually walked, yeah. It wasn't all that far when you know.
The whole family go?
I don't know whether Ian went. Yeah, he probably did, unless he was doing something other than that. Can't particularly remember him there, but I know you and Jean, Dad, we were there. We went, yeah. You used to, because of the horses and the dog. And then I think did you take part in it one year? Yeah, that's right. You see, you got to know them all, more or less, as the time went on. What was the name of the pub that they used to in Club Hill?
I can't even remember
the Badger, the Dog and Badger, wasn't it?
No, I think the Dog and Badger was on the way, wasn't it? On the left. It was on the left as you went.
Oh, that was the Dog and Badger, was it?
I don't know. I can't remember I can remember the pubs, but I can't remember the names.
No, it's a big pub there down at Club Hill, wasn't it?
On the corner of this crossroads.
Yeah,
yes.
where the buses used to go round to Luton. I can't know. One of them was the Dog and Badger anyway.
Well, you could be right. Could be right. What about birthdays? Kids' birthdays? How did you celebrate?
Oh yes, you had birthday parties. I can remember one party you had. You had Jane and her brother. What was his name? Her brother? Jane's brother?
Robert.
Yes, Robert came. And one or two more, and I can remember you playing. Oh, it was terrible. It was absolute bloody murder. Some game. I don't know. You were out one door, in the windows, and out the other doors, and out the front door, and I don't know what it was called, or I don't know, but I can remember. You were all rushing around like lunatics.
So you usually
getting in windows
You usually had a party then for each.
If you wanted one, if you wanted one, yeah. Yes. And that was absolute murder. That.
Did Dad join in the party games?
He wasn't there usually. He used to be on a weekday usually.
I have a memory of him joining in some and doing a thing called Blessings by the Bishop.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot that.
Tell us about that.
Oh, God, yeah. You forget all these things, Heather, you know. Oh, yeah. That was one of my mother, you see, she used to marvellous, yeah. Dear.
Well, tell us about that one.
Well, they all loved our parties, the kids did. So we used to say to them, you all go outside and you're all going to be blessed by the bishop, you see. And of course you lot were in it. You knew what was good, because but a lot of the kids never been there before. They didn't know what it was. So they all trooped outside. See. And then Dad stood on a box, and he sort of had a old blanket thing around him and a trilby hat. See, and in this trilby has a crease, and you put water in this crease, you see, and it's all right while he holds his head up like that, you see. He's standing on this box, you see, like that.
So he's standing
and
very
you've got
upright.
a cushion there. The first child comes
Cushion
in.
down in front of him.
First child comes in. Oh, come on, dear. I don't know, I expect it was me. Oh, come on, dear, kneel down, be blessed by the bishop. So they'd kneel down, look up at Dad, you know, and he'd say, "Now, my dear, have you been a good child?" "Yes." "All right, see, well now just look into my eyes and tell me you're telling the truth." And they'd look up at Dad and he'd go like this and the water would go.
So he bent his head.
No, don't tell any of the others, you know. Don't tell them what happened. But we wouldn't let them out, you know. We'd make them stay in there because to see the fun, you know. Yeah. Oh, that went down very well, that one.
Any other games you can think of?
Well, we had all sat in a ring, and these awful things were passed round, like a grape for an eyeball, and I don't know what that game was. Can you remember that one? I don't know what it was called.
So you had your eyes closed, didn't you? You sat in a ring with your eyes closed.
Yes, yeah.
And
it was I don't know what it was called or what it was supposed to be, this skeleton or something or another. And you had to get all these things together, a grape for an eyeball and a sponge for the liver or something.
I have a feeling it was something to do with Lord Nelson.
Oh, it might have been.
Because I can remember a plate of jelly.
Oh, yes.
And I think the grape was Lord Nelson's eye.
Yeah.
And the plate of jelly was actually the socket. And you
Oh,
put your finger in this.
Oh, yes, yeah. Awful things you used to think of. Don't know where that came from, but I can remember that. Oh, and then you used to like murder.
How did you play that?
Well, you put all the names in a hat. No, not all the names. You just put some as many blanks in the hat as there were there, but one had a cross on it, you see. And if you drew the one with the cross on, you were the murderer, but you didn't tell anybody. And then everybody wandered round the house. I mean, you can imagine that little place in Malden. Oh, dear. Wandered round the house, and the murderer had to murder somebody, so he went off with them, you see. All pitch black. All the lights out, pitch black. Everybody falling over the stairs and falling over everything and screaming. And then he'd like that, you see.
You just touch someone on the throat.
That's right, and they would, you know, scream and fall down, and then someone would shout, "Murder, murdered." Put all the lights up, and there was the corpse, you see. And then all trooped back into the living room, you know, into the room, and you had one person that was the detective. And he had to ask everybody questions. Where were you? What did you see? Were you near the corpse? You know, do you think it was a boy or, you know, was it a female or a male that did the murder? Did you, you know, so on and so forth. And try and find out who the murderer was by. And you know, they used to fib and lie and all that sort of thing. You love that. Mm.
Any others you can think of?
Sardines.
What did you do there?
Oh, well, sardines was a bit, that was a smoochy one. What was sardines?
One person went away and hid.
Yeah, that's right. One person went and hid. And when the other person found them, they had to join them, didn't they? And so on and so forth. So, yeah, something, goodness, something like that.
Mm. So you ended up with a whole heap of people.
Yeah, but it got to be a bit smoochy because you sort of went with your, you know, whatever fella you, well, when you got a bit older, that you fancied, and you know, when you smooched, you know, you didn't want. On my bed, everywhere, under the muddy bed, the place was in chaos.
How many would come to these parties?
Well, I suppose it's only probably about half a dozen. But I mean, it was a lot in our little place, you know? Yeah.
What did you give people to eat?
Oh dear, sandwiches and I suppose, yeah, jelly and blancmange were popular in those days, you know.
What would you put in the sandwiches?
Oh, well, you could get, they don't eat paste much now. We used to be quite fond of shrimp paste and things like that. Very tasty. You can get it, I believe. Yeah, and cucumbers, cheese, you know, tomato, meat. All used to go down the Red Lane, yeah.
I should have asked you when we were talking about Christmas, did you have Christmas crackers?
Yes, yes. Oh, yeah.
When would you have those?
Oh, Christmas dinner. Mm. Yeah, just with hats, and, you know, same, but they were better than they are now. They're very expensive and stupid now, aren't they?
What did they have in them?
Oh, rings and necklaces, little, you know, and whistles. Depending what you paid for them, of course.
So you'd pull crackers before the meal started and put the hat on, would you?
Yeah. Read out your mottos, middles, whatever they were.
What did you and Dad do for your birthdays?
Nothing, I don't think. Not much.
Did you exchange presents?
Yeah, I think I used to buy him something. You kids used to buy him something, and I think he used to buy. I don't know what he ever bought. I don't know. I suppose I had a present of some sort. I can't remember what it was. No.
Did you go out at all?
Yeah, we probably went out for a drink or something. But you see, you couldn't. Now, I mean, these pubs, they do food, you see, and I mean, you know, what's that one across from us, the George? Now, you see, they went in, and I went back to Malden when I was there. We had a beautiful lunch there, you see. And most pubs do that now, so it would have been nice. We could have just walked down to Clophill or something, but they didn't do that, you see, then. I think you could have bread and cheese at the counter or something like that, but not sit down no. So it meant if you wanted a meal out, you had to go, well, I suppose Hampton or somewhere. You could have found a place in Hampton, otherwise Bedford or Luton.
What about wedding anniversaries?
Oh, they just came and went, love.
You didn't do anything?
Except for the 25th, silver wedding. Then we did a show in town, and stayed the night with Jane and Jiggy, and yeah, had dinner out. It was nice. Had dinner out first, up the West End, and then went to a show. Can't even remember what it was. And then we couldn't get back, you see, because of being late. So we stayed the night with Jane and Jiggy. Yeah, that was nice.
Did you exchange birthday cards or anniversary cards or anything?
No,
Nothing like that.
not after we were married. I don't think. No.
Did you buy the kids birthday cards?
I don't think so, love. No, they got cards from friends and things. I don't think I did. No.
With all this catering that we've been talking about, I wondered who did the washing up? You did the preparation, is that right?
Yeah, and the washing up I spent.
Did Dad take any part in helping with the housework or the...
No, not a lot, love. No. He'd wipe up on stress. Christmas Day, he'd probably wipe a few things up, yeah.
And what about when you were working, did he?
Not really, no. I think he thought he'd done his job.
Even while you were when you went out to work?
Oh, well, I did only work part-time, you know, never worked full-time.
Did you mind that?
No, love, I mean, he was very good at doing, he could do all sorts of things, you know, and he used to grow veggies in the garden with the help of old John and things like that. And he used to do some cooking, you see. I'd rather him do the cooking than the wiping up. I mean, he used to grow all these tomatoes in his greenhouse, and then he bought a pressure cooker. I never asked him for a bloody pressure cooker. I didn't want one. Couldn't have cared less. He bought this pressure cooker. He'd heard, these people at work all makes lovely soup, cooks and all that sort of thing. So I said, well, and it used to make us terrifying, and I thought it would blow up. So I wouldn't be bothered with it. Couldn't be bothered with it, So he did the cooking. He used to make lovely, if you remember, lovely tomato soup in the pressure cooker, and other soups and things too. But for a long time I would never bar of it. I thought, no, well, while he's interested and novelty and that, something different, let him get on with it. Got to be a bit artful, haven't you?
What about discipline? Who disciplined the kids at that stage?
Well, if it came to anything very what's it, Dad, but normally day by day I suppose I did, love, yeah.
And what form did that take?
Oh, I don't think you weren't naughty kids, really. You weren't naughty kids. I don't think you needed anything very drastic. Well, you were a bit of a monkey when you was a little mite. Used to lie on the washhouse floor and kick and carry on because I wouldn't take you to meet Ian. Yeah, you were a bit of an upstart, but you weren't nasty, naughty,
And did we get into trouble at school at all? Did we get into trouble at school at all?
No more or less than anybody else. I don't think so, love. Don't think so. I never was never called at the school to say this child is dreadful or anything like that. And you all had reasonable reports. Nothing to say that your behaviour was terrible or anything like that. No. I think you were all fairly reasonable kids.
What about illnesses and accidents?
Yeah, well, you all had childish illnesses, of course. You had a few accidents, didn't you, on your horse once or twice, and with old, what's his name? What was his name, that man?
Elliot.
Yeah, little Elliot. And
he trained the horses.
yes, yeah. But I can't remember any bad accidents except the one with Jerry that needed you to go to hospital or anything like that.
What about
None of you were ever hospitalised.
At that stage?
No.
And what about you and Dad?
No. Well, no, because Dad he got over his disc. See, and no, he never really ailed anything other than a winter cold, which everybody had,
And you never had any feminine complaints?
Well, what I had, I just had to live with and get over them because you just gotta. No, I was very lucky, love. I did. I did have to go and have a scrape, didn't I? But I mean that. Yeah, it was a couple of days or whatever it was.
Who looked after the kids then?
Oh, you were older then, love. You know. And Dad saw that she ate, or he was all right with the food part. It's only a couple of whatever. But you just didn't. You didn't get. I mean, there was so much to be done that you just couldn't. You just carried on. You couldn't be bothered until things got that you felt that you really had to go to the doctor.